1,000 alien ships glittered in Earth's orbit, bristling with weapons. The galaxy had gathered to witness humanity's quiet surrender. Instead, one small, lone vessel rose from Earth's shadow, its captain smiling like a man walking into a poker game with all the aces hidden up his sleeve. 1,000 alien warships hung over Earth like a metallic storm, their hulls bristling with cannons, energy lances, and enough firepower to reduce continents to ash. The broadcast went galaxy-wide. Every empire tuned in to witness humanity's final humiliation. Commentators traded smug predictions: surrender, enslavement, and perhaps the extinction of another primitive anomaly. And then, a single ship rose from Earth's night side. It wasn't colossal. It wasn't sleek. Compared to the gleaming dreadnoughts orbiting above, it looked like a relic pulled out of a scrapyard. Its engines glowed a dull blue, almost shy in the shadow of 1,000 thrusters blazing like miniature suns. On the main broadcast feed, a human appeared. Captain Elias Rourke wore a neatly pressed uniform, his hair combed like he'd walked straight out of a recruitment poster. He cradled a steaming mug in one hand, eyes relaxed, voice calm. "Good morning," he said as though greeting neighbors rather than a galactic firing squad. "Lovely crowd today. I see the whole quadrant's here." The silence from the armada lasted only a beat before the first alien commander spoke, a towering insectoid with a chittering mandible that scraped against its voice translator. "Human," it hissed, "your kind stands at the brink of extinction. Surrender now, and we may leave a remnant alive for study." Rourke nodded slowly, sipping his drink. "Study. Right. Is that before or after you burn down my house?" The translator stuttered, not sure if he was joking. The insectoid twitched. A different feed cut in, this time a reptilian general draped in gold-trimmed armor. His scales shimmered under command deck lighting. "Captain, we are not here to negotiate. You've been given 10 standard cycles to comply. It is generous." His grin revealed serrated teeth. "Generous," Rourke repeated, tilting his head. "That's a word we usually save for birthday parties. This feels more like a mugging." Across the galactic network, trillions of viewers laughed, but not the commanders arrayed around Earth. Another voice emerged, aged, calm, almost weary. A robed figure with translucent skin and luminous eyes. The elder species, known for caution and foresight. "Captain Rourke," the elder intoned, "your presence is noted. Do you intend to resist with that?" The camera panned back, showing the solitary vessel floating against the overwhelming backdrop. Viewers jeered. Even Earth's allies shook their heads. Rourke smiled faintly. "This?" He tapped the console beside him. "Old ship. Bit temperamental. Drinks more fuel than I do coffee. But she's reliable when she needs to be." The reptilian general barked a laugh. "One vessel against 1,000? Are you mad or desperate?" "Neither," Rourke replied, voice as smooth as glass. "Just patient." The insectoid commander leaned forward, antennae vibrating. "Then you have chosen death." Rourke held up a finger. "Correction, you've chosen to come here. That's not quite the same thing." He took another sip, unhurried. For the first time, a ripple of unease passed through the alien channels. Why wasn't the human afraid? Why the casual tone, the coffee, the faint humor? The elder leaned closer to his console, luminous eyes narrowing. "Captain, what are you hiding?" Rourke exhaled softly. "Hiding? Now that's an assumption. Maybe I'm just enjoying the morning view." He gestured toward Earth below, its oceans glittering in sunlight. "Home's still standing. Coffee's hot. Can't complain." The reptilian snarled, his claws tapping the armrest. "Enough stalling. You have 5 cycles left to surrender." "Oh, I wouldn't worry about cycles," Rourke said politely. "Time's not really on your side." His ship pulsed with light. A sharp spike rippled across alien sensors, triggering alarms in half the fleet. Power readings spiked to levels incompatible with the vessel's apparent design. Calculations scrambled. Data didn't match expectation. The insectoid commander hissed. "Impossible. That craft is centuries outdated." Outdated, Rourke echoed, rolling the word like a joke. Funny thing about antiques, they carry surprises if you know how to use them. Alien officers scrambled, barking orders, repositioning ships. Tension swelled. But Rourke remained calm, sipping, eyes half-lidded. You know, he said conversationally, humans love old sayings. One of my favorites? Don't count your chickens before they hatch. You've gathered your eggs, ships, around Earth, certain you've already won. But maybe you've counted too soon. The reptilian scoffed. Proverbs will not save you. No, Rourke agreed. But strategy will. For the first time, his tone edged into steel. Still polite, still smooth, but sharpened like a hidden blade. See, you assumed Earth would kneel. That's your first mistake. Your second? Bringing everyone here, right where we wanted you. The elder alien's voice trembled. Where you wanted us? Rourke smiled wider, finally setting his mug down. You think we're trapped. But chess players, ever heard of the game? They don't mind being cornered if it's part of the plan. 1,000 ships, beautiful. Just what we needed for the demonstration. Across the galactic network, viewers leaned forward. The word hung there, demonstration. Not survival. Not resistance. Demonstration. The insectoid shrieked through static. What are you planning, human? Oh, Rourke said, almost cheerfully. Something educational. The Nemesis, his battered vessel, unfurled hidden panels along its hull. Energy flared, cascading into geometric patterns no alien recognized. Sensors screamed. Gravitational fields twisted, space itself groaning under the strain. One human ship against 1,000, and for the first time, the galaxy realized it might not be the joke. On the broadcast, Rourke's voice remained steady, almost pleasant. Well then, shall we get started? The Nemesis stretched its wings. Panels slid open across the hull, lines of light tracing ancient geometry. Alien sensors scrambled to interpret the readings. Energy curves twisted into absurd spikes, the kind usually reserved for collapsing stars. Across the fleet, commanders shouted over one another as data poured in, most of it tagged with a single word, impossible. Captain Elias Rourke leaned back in his chair, hands folded neatly on the console. His crew, barely a dozen souls, moved with quiet precision. No panic. No shouting. Only calm, practiced efficiency, like waiters in a restaurant taking orders on a busy night. Target lock achieved on grid 3 through 7. His weapons officer reported. Thank you, Miranda, Rourke replied, tone pleasant, as though she told him the soup of the day. He toggled the open broadcast, allowing every alien commander to hear him. 1,000 ships. Quite the audience. I hope you don't mind if we open the show with a warm-up number. The reptilian general slammed a clawed hand against his armrest. You dare mock us? That vessel cannot. The Nemesis fired. No beams, no glowing torpedoes. Space rippled. 10 enemy cruisers simply folded inward, crushed as if the universe had decided they were no longer valid objects. Silence filled the channels. Then came the screaming. The insectoid commander shrieked. Weapons of singularity! That's forbidden technology! Rourke smiled. So's genocide. But you brought 1,000 warships to one planet. Forgive me if I don't clutch my pearls. Laughter rippled across some human channels relaying the broadcast back home. To the watching galaxy, it sounded deranged, humans finding humor in annihilation. The fleets regrouped, panic slipping into their formations. Hundreds of ships opened fire, beams converging on the Nemesis. Light poured over the vessel, a blinding cascade. When it faded, the ship was still there. Alien officers stared at screens, baffled. Shield readings didn't exist. The Nemesis had absorbed the barrage without flinching. Rourke tilted his head. Oh, was that it? HM. We call that tickling where I'm from. The elder alien, voice grim, leaned closer to his calm feed. Captain Rourke, that vessel should not exist. Where did humanity acquire this? Acquire? Rourke chuckled. We built it. Took us a while. Had to keep it quiet. Hard to finish projects when your neighbors are nosy. The reptilian general roared in fury. Destroy him! The armada surged. Waves of frigates and destroyers dove in tight, weapons blazing. The nemesis shifted like a shark in shallow water, silent, sudden, efficient. It drifted between barrages, moving not with thruster bursts but with bends in gravity itself. Each adjustment sent alien ships colliding, weapons firing into allies, confusion spreading like wildfire. Rourke's helmsman grinned, hands dancing across controls. Feels like bumper cars at the fair, Captain. Let's make sure they don't get the prize tickets. Rourke replied dryly. Another ripple, this time across the midline of the enemy fleet. 20 ships cracked apart as their own reactors detonated. Human engineers had always called the trick tapping the glass, though no alien understood why. The insectoid commander shrieked, mandibles clattering. You are predators! Guilty as charged. Rourke answered, voice calm. He leaned toward the camera. But don't take it personally. We don't hunt for fun. Only when pushed. The elder's luminous eyes narrowed. This is no improvisation. You have rehearsed this moment. Sharp as ever, Rourke said with a faint nod. We knew this day would come. You thought humanity was reckless, noisy, distracted. And we let you think that. Turns out, we're very good at playing dumb. Explosions flashed across the dark, bursts of color against the void. Alien admirals shouted orders, voices cracking. Ships collided in desperate retreats. Some pulled back, but the formation boxed them in. Their own numbers had trapped them. Predictable, Rourke muttered. When predators smell blood, they rush in. Works every time. Miranda glanced up from weapons. Captain, you want the next volley? Not yet. He lifted his mug again, sipping calmly. Let them sweat. The reptilian general's voice cut through the chaos. Human, you cannot win against the entire galaxy. Even if you destroy us here, others will come. You are sealing your own fate. Funny, Rourke said lightly. That's exactly what Rome said to a bunch of scrappy tribes up north. Ever heard of the Goths? Probably not. Rome burned, though. Aliens blinked in confusion, translators faltering on the historical reference. The general snarled, misunderstanding but enraged. The nemesis twisted space again, this time slicing through the command wing. The general's flagship shuddered, alarms blaring. His crew screamed as the hull bent unnaturally, panels ripping away. You think us weak, Rourke said softly. Because we laugh, because we stumble, because we waste time on music and movies. You mistook patience for cowardice. But every game we played, every joke we told, it was to buy time for this. The elder's whisper echoed across channels. It was all bait. Rourke smiled thinly. Correct. The fleet wavered. Panic rolled through ranks. 1,000 ships had surrounded Earth expecting triumph. Now they realized they were prey in a net they'd cast themselves. Rourke raised a hand toward his crew. Show them the board. The nemesis pulsed. Across Earth's orbit, hidden satellites and dormant stations flared to life. Stealth fields dropped. A lattice of weapons platforms locked into formation, surrounding the alien armada. For centuries, humanity had buried its true arsenal beneath junkyards, disguised as space debris, hidden in plain sight. The insectoid's voice broke into static screams. This is impossible! We scanned! We searched! Of course you did, Rourke said smoothly. But humans are clever with disguises. Halloween, you know. Costumes. Tricks. We've had practice. The elder's face sank in despair. You wanted us to gather here. Yes, Rourke confirmed. His voice was polite, almost conversational. It saves us the trouble of chasing you later. The reptilian general howled as his flagship cracked, systems failing. This is war! You cannot. General, Rourke interrupted, voice soft but sharp. This isn't war. This is a lesson. And class is just getting started. He signaled Miranda. The lattice fired. The lattice fired. Dozens of hidden platforms ignited, releasing energy lances that tore through alien formations like knives through paper. Explosions rippled outward, fragments of shattered ships scattering into Earth's upper atmosphere. Civilians below gasped as streaks of burning wreckage lit the night sky. To the galaxy watching, the image was obscene, the weak species, dismantling the strongest fleets with clinical precision. Rourke didn't flinch. He set his mug aside and clasped his hands, posture calm, eyes steady. Miranda, status? 57 ships neutralized, she replied crisply. Minimal expenditure. They're panicking. Good, Rourke said. His tone was almost warm. Panic is educational. On the alien channels, chaos erupted. The reptilian general screamed for reinforcements, his flagship still groaning under structural failure. The insectoid shrilled orders to retreat and regroup. The elder spoke barely above a whisper. This is not defense, the elder said, eyes wide, glowing faintly. This is execution. Rourke finally acknowledged him. You're half right. It's a demonstration. Defense suggests we were cornered. But we weren't. You were. The insectoid's mandibles clicked furiously. You lured us here? Rourke leaned toward the camera, his smile thin. Of course. Where else could we show you what you've refused to see? Humanity isn't prey. We're the hunters who stopped pretending. The reptilian slammed a clawed fist against his armrest. Madness! The galaxy will unite against you! Rourke chuckled softly, the sound almost kind. Unite? You can't even coordinate among yourselves. You marched 1,000 ships here thinking it would be quick, clean, glorious. You walked into our theater, and now you're the performance. The nemesis pulsed again. A new signal spread across the void, encrypted frequencies waking dormant systems buried in the asteroid belt, on the dark side of the moon, hidden in orbit around distant gas giants. One by one, cloaked ships decloaked, their hulls glinting black as obsidian. The Shadow Fleet. Silent, massive, patient. Alien feeds erupted in horror. 100 vessels, then 200, materializing without warning. Not sleek or ceremonial like the fleets of the elder races, these ships looked predatory. Jagged edges, matte hulls that swallowed light, weapons arrays bristling in every direction. The elder alien's face drained of its faint glow. You've hidden an entire fleet. Several, actually, Rourke corrected. This is only the local branch. Consider it customer service. For the first time, the reptilian general faltered. His arrogance cracked, voice unsteady. This cannot be, your people were fractured, scattered, primitive. Rourke cut him off, voice sharp yet polite. We bicker, yes. We fight among ourselves, waste time, chase distractions. That's what you saw. But predators mask their teeth until they strike. Did you really believe we'd show you our real hand while you hovered overhead? The insectoid shrieked through static. Deception! Trickery! You are vermin! Rourke tilted his head, almost sympathetic. And yet, it's the vermin that chew through your walls when you're not looking. The Shadow Fleet moved in silence, tightening the noose. Alien formations broke apart, some ships firing wildly, others attempting escape only to crash into freshly uncloaked ambush wings. Every attempt at order dissolved into chaos. Miranda's voice remained level. Grid 9 collapsing. Should I lock the exits? Not yet, Rourke said. His eyes never left the central screen. They still need to understand. The elder, trembling, whispered, Understand what? That mercy has limits, Rourke answered softly. The broadcast carried his words across the galaxy. Billions of species leaned forward in dread. The human captain spoke not as a desperate defender but as an instructor giving a final lesson. The reptilian general roared, a last attempt at bravado. If you strike us down, you'll drown in enemies. Entire civilizations will burn your world. Rourke's smile returned, calm and faintly amused. Burn Earth? Oh, you poor man. You still don't get it. Earth was never the prize. Earth is the bait. The channel erupted in stunned silence. The elder found his voice weak but steady. The trap is not here alone. Correct, Rourke said. His hand hovered over a console. You see, while you gathered, our fleets weren't idle. Across the galaxy, every system you left vulnerable is receiving a visit. The Shadow Fleet isn't bound to Earth. It's everywhere. And you just gave us the perfect excuse to reveal it. Alien commanders froze as fresh alerts poured into their channels. Reports of human vessels appearing in distant sectors, striking undefended outposts, dismantling supply lines. The insectoid screeched in fury. Impossible! Humanity lacks the numbers. Rourke interrupted, polite but firm. Numbers are overrated. Strategy matters more. One wolf can scatter a herd if it knows where to bite. Miranda's console pinged. They're breaking, Captain? Multiple wings attempting retreat. No, Rourke said quietly. The Shadow Fleet sealed the exits. Gravity wells blossomed, folding space shut. The alien armada, once a symbol of overwhelming power, was trapped inside a cage of invisible walls. Rourke leaned closer to the comms, voice low, calm, and cutting. You came to Earth thinking we'd kneel. Instead, you've delivered yourselves as hostages. Do you understand now? Humanity doesn't wait to be cornered. We corner you. The reptilian general's voice cracked into desperation. You'll regret this. Our empires will rally. Perhaps, Rourke said with a shrug. But by then, you'll be gone, and your fleets with you. History won't call this a battle. It will call it a warning. His words were punctuated by the Shadow Fleet unleashing a synchronized volley. Beams lanced outward in perfect arcs, carving through enemy ranks. Fireballs blossomed, one after another, until the night above Earth was a storm of flame and wreckage. Viewers across the galaxy stared in horrified awe. The humans had been underestimated, mocked, treated as curiosities. Now they saw the truth. Beneath the laughter, beneath the clumsy exterior, lay predators who had spent centuries smiling while sharpening knives. The elder whispered, almost to himself. The galaxy has made a terrible mistake. Rourke's eyes flicked toward him. Correction. You made a predictable mistake. Assuming the quiet ones are harmless. Never corner a species that survives by adapting. The Nemesis glowed with power, the Shadow Fleet circling like wolves around wounded prey. Rourke's voice cut through the silence, polite as ever. Lesson over. Test begins. The alien fleet moved with mechanical precision, a wall of steel and plasma encircling Earth. Their calm channels brimmed with confidence. To them, the battle was already won. Humanity's silence was interpreted as surrender. But silence can mean calculation. From the shadows of Earth's magnetosphere, black holes stirred. They bore no insignias, no visible weapons, no emissions. Just dark geometry against deeper darkness. 1,000 scanners swept past them without registering life. Yet, deep inside, reactors pulsed like restrained thunder. The Shadow Fleet, long dismissed as myth, whispered as Earth's paranoia made flesh, was awake. Admiral Elias Mercer stood at the command deck of the flagship Oblivion's Edge. The chamber around him glowed dim blue, a deliberate contrast to the brilliant chaos outside. He spoke softly, but every word carried across the encrypted comms to the hidden flotilla. Phase 1 veil lift. 100 ships decloaked at once. Not a shimmer, not a transition. One instant they were void, the next they were reality, like nightmares stepping forward from the dark. Alien admirals gasped. Sensors screamed warnings too late. On the enemy's bridge, Lord Commander KRYKH barked orders. His species prided themselves on discipline, but even he felt his throat tighten. Impossible! Those readings cannot be correct. Earth cannot. The first volley cut him off. Human ships fired not in salvos but in silence. No build-up, no radiant arcs. Just sudden annihilation, beams of folded space energy that bypassed shields and cored through battleships like surgical blades. Entire cruisers came apart in clean halves, drifting dead before their crews knew they were struck. Panic rippled. Alien formations fractured. Inside Oblivion's Edge, Mercer remained calm. His officers watched him more than their instruments, as though his composure alone anchored them. "Admiral," said Lieutenant Ree, voice hushed. "Their flagship is repositioning. Should we pursue?" Mercer shook his head. "They think retreat is an option. Let them run, for now. Fear spreads faster than fire." He turned, addressing the fleet. "Phase 2, unveil." More shadows peeled from the dark. 50, then 100 more ships materialized. They dwarfed the earlier vessels, leviathans with angular armor, layered like cathedral spires forged of obsidian steel. Their thrusters glowed faintly, restrained, as if mocking the desperate burns of their prey. The alien fleets collapsed inward, trying to consolidate, but each attempt ended with surgical strikes slicing their cohesion apart. A voice crackled across open comms, alien desperation now unmasked. "This is Commander Varric of the Coalition. We demand—" Mercer cut the channel with a gesture. "Demands are for the living." The bridge fell silent. Officers exchanged glances, caught between awe and dread at their own leader's words. He continued quieter, almost to himself. "This is not battle. This is remembrance." For centuries, Earth had been underestimated, written off as fractured, weak, too scarred by its own history to project strength. Yet those scars had not broken humanity, they had forged it. The Shadow Fleet was not a weapon of arrogance. It was insurance. The final argument. On the alien flagship, KRYTH clawed at his console, mandibles clattering. "Regroup! Form perimeter! They cannot field this many ships. It defies every intelligence report." But his own officers hesitated, their eyes fixed on the void around Earth, where more shapes continued to flicker into existence. It seemed endless. Mercer finally gave the command that froze blood across the stars. "Phase 3, horizon lock." Above Earth's poles, colossal structures activated, dark pylons hidden within asteroid shells. They linked with the fleet, forming a lattice of blue fire across the void. Every enemy ship caught within it felt their engines stutter, their warp cores flicker. "Trapped!" A Coalition admiral screamed into his comms. "They've sealed the system! We cannot escape!" Humanity had inverted the war. What began as siege became slaughter. On the Oblivion's edge, Lieutenant Ree spoke again, almost reverent. "Admiral, was this always the plan?" Mercer's gaze never left the viewport, where alien vessels broke apart like brittle toys. "Always. The galaxy demanded Earth's surrender. Instead, they will learn Earth never forgot how to endure." He leaned forward, and for the first time, his voice sharpened. "Execute final directive. No survivors among combatants." The Shadow Fleet moved as one, striking with terrifying precision. Every beam, every torpedo, every silent lance of energy dismantled a fleet that once spanned worlds. The battle ended not in hours but in minutes. Silence returned to orbit, broken only by drifting wreckage. Alien voices across the galaxy would remember this day, the day surrender was expected, but apocalypse answered instead. Mercer stood straight, his reflection in the viewport a pale figure with unshaken eyes. He finally whispered the line that would pass into legend. "They thought Earth had no future. We gave them the Shadow Fleet.